Now, when we think about infant sleep challenges, we always assume that it's the children that have to change, right? But in all honesty, how many of us can put up our hands and say that we have the perfect sleep routine? We go to bed early, we give ourselves plenty of time to fall asleep easily, we're not looking at technology or TV, and we get a good 8 hours sleep. I know I can't. And I've probably said this before, but look, when we come into parenthood, a lot of us are surviving on not as much sleep as we should have anyway. And it's only when we actually have a baby that we realise that the 6 hour solid block of sleep that we get as young, footloose and fancy free people is no longer enough when it's fractured and we have a baby waking up several times through that 6 hour block. And so naturally, it's the baby that gets the blame for parents feeling rubbish. Now, I think it's only fair that we do take a little bit of responsibility for our own sleep habits too. And to be honest, this suggestion is never warmly received when I do mention it to parents. Because we all have our own routines and rituals, and humans do not like change. Many people will tell me they're night owls, they don't like to go to bed until after midnight, or perhaps they like burning the candle at the other end and they like to get up at 5 o'clock and go to the gym. Now, much as our hobbies, activities, interests are fantastic for mental health, nothing is as good for mental health as sleep. So I always want parents to prioritise this for themselves as well as their children. So what I'm saying is there's more to it than let's fix this kid's sleep. It's really not fair that the entire burden of change should fall solely on the sleep of the child. We need to take a bit of responsibility too. So there's many simple changes that we can make that aren't really going to impact our daily routines too much at all. It might include stuff like moving dinner a bit earlier. This might allow us to get all the cleaning up done, maybe household chores across the day, get them done before we turn our attention to children's bedtime, so that then we're freed up to go to bed a bit earlier ourselves in the evening. Also things like taking shifts. If you're in a couple and one of you likes to be up really late at night and the other one is up early in the morning, then the night owl can take the first shift and the early bird can take the one closer to the morning. Even if breastfeeding, this is still possible, I promise, but it just involves that one person being more awake than the other. Furniture arrangements might change as well. So for example, your child might just want to be sleeping near to you instead of in their own room. Is that a compromise that can be made? Potentially your child would sleep through much more easily if they knew that you were really close to them. They just don't want to be separate. But people often have very firm views on where they want their children to sleep. Now, of course, making decisions and changes at this age doesn't mean that you're going to be stuck with it forever. But for the short term, sometimes these little compromises can make a big difference. So anyway, if you're having struggles with your little one and their sleep, think beyond their sleep. If they're still a baby, it's very likely that night waking is going to be a feature for the next few months at least. So get your thinking caps on and work around the issue rather than trying to fix it, because it can be really hard trying to fix what's biologically normal and far easier to make a few compromises while they're small. And if you're thinking of working with a holistic sleep coach like me, don't be surprised if he or she likes to delve down into your own sleep habits to see where they can make improvements to the whole family's sleep. And if you'd like to know more, why not get in touch, drop me a message, or leave me some questions in the comments.